Hey friends, it's rskt and welcome back to part 3 of my tips, tricks and rambling videos relating to Moho. If you haven't checked out parts 1 and 2, I'll leave a link to them down below in the description. Basically, we've been going over things like how to make your rigs look a little less robotic, some cool paper cutout effects, using delays to automate things, rigging up ropes and stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun so far, but I'm really excited for today's video because in today's, we're going to explore a 360-degree head turn, which we'll dive into first. And then finally, towards the end, not so much a tutorial, but I just want to sort of demonstrate some things I've been playing around with a arm rigging system. It's not quite finished yet, so even seeing the end result might make it seem a little bit redundant, like the end result doesn't fully achieve what I'm setting out to do. But I think I'm on the right track with it. Definitely need a bit more time in the oven, but either way, I've thrown it in there to sort of show what I'm going for, and maybe some people down below in the comments can let me know if they've done the same thing. Anyways, let's not waste any more time and jump straight into the video. Alright, so for this next example, I kind of want to go over something to do with head turns, because I see a lot of people that are always asking, especially in like, you know, on the Moho subreddit and everything, how do I create a 360-degree character? And what they mean by that is they want to be able to create and rig a character where they've got controls and they can completely spin them around 360 degrees. And I see a lot of people asking this, and 9 times out of 10, the answer they get is you don't need a 360-degree character. And a lot of people will say that there's very rarely an instance where you need to actually rotate a character 360 degrees. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, they're absolutely right. It is a pretty rare use case. But I think some of the appeal for Moho, what appeals to people about it is that you can create a drawing and rig it up and then not have to think about creating new artwork again. And for people that are wanting to create their own series or their own shorts or whatever they want to make, that's extremely appealing. And there's definitely ways to go about doing that inside of Moho. So in the latest version of Moho, they have released 360 bones. However, I don't think that that is the best use case for rotating a character in 3D, or at least not the head, and I'm about to demonstrate why. Now, I've never really done this before. I've created this character here. Just going to group it with selection, and we'll turn it into a bone layer. Great. And yeah, we've got this character. There's this little triangle here. That's going to be his hair, but I'm just going to whack that at the back of the head. So think of it like a little ponytail. This is going to be extremely rough, but just a sort of experiment with what I think could potentially be a great 360 head rig. You could definitely use a 360 bone for a body turn, but yeah, I think this might work a little bit better. So I'm going to turn on the grid here, and for those who have seen my Mantis tutorial, they've seen me demo this before, but we're going to go over it again. So what I'm going to do is just whack a bone down in the middle here, and I'm going to put a bone over to the side, and then one somewhere underneath. I just kind of want these to be even. So yeah, maybe about there. And think of like, you know, a circle around this. Now from there, we're also going to whack a bone at the end of that one and a bone at the end of this one. Let's select all of those, turn their strength down to 0, select P for parent, and just make sure that they're not parented to anything. Great. So what we're going to do is we'll call this one left, right, I don't know, something like that. And we'll call this one up, down. Great, so don't worry about these other 3-point bones for now. I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. So with this up, down motion, we'll create a new action. We'll select the eyes, move them up. Whoops, I'll just turn off the grid. Move them up. This is going to be very rough and not perfect at all. And we'll move his hair down the back a little bit. And yep, whoops, I accidentally put them all on frame 1. I'm going to move these to something like frame 48. And then yeah, we'll grab this bone as well, and since we're looking up, we need to rotate it up, but first we need some angle constraints, so I'll just quickly create some of those. 45 degrees. Great, and so on frame 48, we'll rotate this bone up. Cool, and that means every time we move that bone up, he's going to be looking up, which is great. So let's go back to the main line. We'll just make sure that bone's selected. We'll create another up-down action. Rotate it down. And then we'll just select these. We'll make him look like he's looking down. And we'll poke his hair out the back a little bit. Awesome. So now when we come back and we move this bone up and down, there we go. Just make sure the layer's selected. Yeah, we've got this cool up and down motion. So let's quickly do a turn for the head as well. So we'll select that head turn left and right. Go to frame 48, and yep, I forgot to do bone constraints for that as well. So we'll just whack in -45, +45. Let's start by turning it to the left. And then we'll start with the nose here, just because it'll be the easiest. So I'm going to move this out, maybe just to the very edge. And we'll move his hair all the way to the back. Maybe something like that. We could even, squish this down a little bit. But, let's not get carried away. And finally, we'll move the eyes out to here. And yeah, obviously we need to set up some layer masks. So what we'll want to do is we'll select this bone layer, go to masking, go to hide all and hit apply. And then we'll open up the head layer and say, add this to mask. And then say don't mask this layer. To mask, and yeah, we won't mask the nose. Don't mask this layer. There we go. So yeah, now he's looking left and right, or left at least. Which means finally, we'll just come in and with that bone selected, we'll make one more action, left, right, 2. We'll rotate this all the way to the right, and then just quickly do the same thing here. Move his eyes over, move his nose over. And of course, when you're doing this properly with whatever character you're making, you're probably going to take a lot more care than this. Great. So we'll just make sure we're on the bone layer, and cool. Left, right, up, down. And yeah, obviously like the hair is like falling apart a little bit and whatnot, but you get the idea. We've got like a little bit of control. But the thing is, and the reason why I'm setting up these other bones now, and you've seen in other videos from me, is I don't really like having to use 2 controls to get a character to look where I want them to. Let's say I wanted him to look down here at the play button. I don't want to be like turning this and then going, oh yeah, well maybe, yeah, about there, and move this one over a bit to there. It's just like really annoying, and I prefer to have just one control for the head direction. And yeah, that's why we set up these other bones here. So what we're going to do is with this bone selected, we'll press P for parent, then hold control and click on this other bone above it. And you'll see a little icon has popped up, like a little crosshair in the middle of that. And if you don't like doing it that way, the other way you can do, and I'll demonstrate that with this one, is select this bone. This is the up-down bone, and this is B5. So with this up-down bone selected, we go to inverse kinematics, target, B5. And yeah, we get the same little icon. So these are essentially like little control bones. And then what we'll do from there is we'll select both of those control bones. Sorry, this middle bone is called B1. So we'll select both of those control bones, go to bone constraints, and say that I want it to follow the position of B1. And yeah, essentially what that means is this won't work on frame 0, but if you go to frame 1 and beyond where you'll be animating, we can select this guy, hit T for transform, and move it around. And huzzah! Now we've got one control that allows us to get him looking where we want him to be. Now, the other thing that we just want to make sure of, because it is a little janky, we want to select this bone, and we only want it going left and right. We don't want it moving up and down. So we'll select that. This is horizontal. This is vertical. So we'll set vertical to 0. And then on this one, we'll do the same thing, but set horizontal to 0. So now when we go to frame 1, it should behave a little bit better. There we go. So nice and smooth. It saves things sort of clashing into each other because, yeah, when we had horizontal activated on this and it bumped into its own bone, kind of broke a little bit. So what I'm going to do from here is just make a new vector layer. And this is predominantly just to give us, whoops, we'll make that a circle. Give us sort of something to look at, I think to about there. So yeah, if we're sort of going up at 45 degrees, it kind of falls off around there. Yeah, this is, think of it like a bounding box. Now we're not going to be able to see that. We're just going to fix up the masking on this layer. Say don't mask. There we go. It doesn't have to be anything flashy. It's mainly just for us to use, and then you can hide it when you export your animation. And now when we grab that, we can see his head kind of actually stops a little bit shorter. So we could probably go ahead and make that just a wee bit smaller. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's mainly just to act as a bit of a guide. All right, something about there. Now, the problem, and this is sort of what we've been building towards. So I really wanted to demo that and just sort of how those rigs sort of work. And not, I should also point out, like 9 times out of 10, once I've set all of that up, I'll grab these bones and hit shy bone so that they're hidden. And now we've just got this nice little rig where we can just grab this and we know this is the head control and we don't need to be messing around with those other controls ever again. You can move it outside the bounding box, but of course nothing's going to happen, and that's why we make this little box. And if you ever want to bring those shy bones back, you just go out to bone and hide or show shy bones. So yeah, the problem is that if we wanted to do a 360 head turn with this, well, we can't move this to the back of this circle. We could use one of those new 360 bones, but that's only going to allow us to rotate left and right, not up and down, and it won't work with this particular control. So I haven't exactly tried this yet, but I've been thinking of a couple of other different ways to go about doing this. I think one particular way would be to select this left-right control. Let's open this one up. And yeah, we know that at 45 degrees, he's looking left and right. Now, I think the plan of attack here would be to open this up to 90 degrees so that we could turn this all the way down and he's going to be sort of turning all the way around. But the thing is, I think just due to the fact that there's two bones interacting here, that might sort of stuff things up a little bit. Either way, we'll give it a go because, yeah, you could always change the angle of things later. So what we're going to do is open up these constraints to something like 90. Whoops. Go negative 90 and 90. Great. And then at 96, we'll open this all the way around. And let's just pretend that that is his full head turn. I'll just make sure that's actually on frame 96. Awesome. So what we would do from there is on frame 96, we'll grab this nose layer and we'll move it back to the middle. And yeah, of course, we'll need to animate the layer order as well. But just in the meantime, we'll just move the eyes outside here and we'll move his hair back to the middle. Now, we need to animate the layer order. So what we can do is we can actually double click on this top layer and go to depth sort and enable this enable animated layer order button. So now we've got a little new icon there, and what we can do is on frame 48, that's where we want the change to happen just after that. So we'll go to frame 49, and then all we need to do is move the nose to the back of the head and the hair to the front of the head. And we can see that now they sort of, just pop on that one frame. So now it looks like he's turning all the way around. So we'll come back to the main line, go to left to right again. We'll rotate this once more and pretty much just do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So we'll move his nose to there, move his hair dead center, and move his eyes out to the side. Great, and we'll just need to animate that layer order. So here we'll move his nose to the back of the head and his hair to the front of the head. Fantastic. So yeah, I haven't tested this yet. Let's sort of see what happens when we move this. So yeah, we can go all the way around to left and right and up and down. Now this way. And yeah, we notice like it doesn't exactly push all the way down to 90 degrees because this has no vertical direction. So we'd just be going on and on forever. We'll never get to true 90 degrees. So I think the way to combat that would be to open up this smart action and we'll go to frame 96 and maybe we'll just change the angle constraints of this bone. Maybe something like negative 75 and positive 75. That seems to open it up quite a bit. And we'll just need to make sure that this is rotating correctly. We don't want it to get there too early. We want it to actually arrive there at frame 96. Cool, let's give that a go. There we go. And now we got a full head rotation. And, you know, if we were to, I suppose, animate this, we would go from there. Let's just say it takes a second. Go all the way around. We'll keep it in a straight line if we can. And then on frame 24, we could just keep it in a straight line, but flick it to the other side. And then bring it back to the center. Or at least we could just copy this frame. Cool. And yeah, maybe we'll just take off the smoothing on those frames. We'll just make them linear. Do get a bit of a jump there. Great. Something else that we might want to consider is, yeah, in here, we should select just about everything. We'll select all of our keyframes, all of our points and whatnot, and we'll change these to linear as well. We'll do that for these. And why not? We'll do it for the up and down as well. Because we don't really want smoothing applied to this. We want control over that during the animation stage. So yeah, not super elegant, but not the worst. I think maybe we've just moved it over way too much here. We want it to actually start around there. So this is where we need to set up some new bounding boxes, just to sort of make sure that the animation is flowing smoothly. Cool. So yeah, again, not the worst, not the best. You'd have to refine things and get it looking where you want. And I suppose what I would do from here is probably delete. We'll keep that there for a second. Let's just make a new square. So maybe to about there-ish for one square. And then where's this opening up to? Pretty much out to about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from it. So we'll just make another square. Maybe we won't push it so far. Just sort of have it going out about 4. And yeah, we'll take out the fill for this. And we'll take out the fill for that. And we'll just, and then yeah, we'll just draw one more. We'll turn on the grid. One more to about there, I would say. I mean, we could leave the circle there if we really wanted to. It's not a bad idea to do that. Yeah, maybe something like that. Not the best control system, but if we show or hide our shy bones now, turn off the grid, come to frame 1, and cool. So now we've got normal head rotation, but we know as soon as we push it sort of into this range, which yeah, you'd have to refine a little bit more. Mine's a little off. We know that that's when we're starting to go into a 360 head turn. And so if we were to push it all the way out here, we know that, around here is the limit. Again, you'd refine this so that it lines up properly. So I think that is a pretty elegant solution. You could probably even make like another box to be like, he's looking up this way or down this way, just so that your up and down motion aligns a little bit better. But I think in the future, this might be the direction that I go in for a head turn. Now, again, with a body turn, it's a little bit different because it's very rare that you're going to want to be able to do like a 360 body up and down. You'll just want it to go left and right. So you can definitely get away with like a 360 bone for a body rotation there, and you'd set up like a little symbol. But this was just, something that I wanted to go over today, something I wanted to experiment with in real time. I haven't tried it before, but I think that this actually works pretty well. It's still keeping the original controls that I've been using for head rotations and head turns up until this point. But now it just gives us a little bit more flexibility. So if I need to turn a character around, he's looking down at the play button, and you heard a noise behind him. You can just turn around and look at it, and that's really cool. That's really flexible. I think that you can have a lot of fun with something like that. Once it's set up, it would just make the whole animation process super easy. So yeah, I hope that that's inspiring in some people. Let me know in the comments down below if you've come up with another method for rigging. And yeah, I think just on a side note, I think that's kind of why I love Moho so much. There's no like button or pre-built tool to be like, this is a head rig and this is what you have to work with. It's very open-ended. It kind of gives you all the basics of bones and IKs and constraints and delays. It gives you all of those tools. But with those tools, you can build your own complicated systems so that your characters are behaving in the exact way that you want them to behave. A lot of different people out there might have different ways that they set up head rigs. Some people might want the up, down, left, right motion. But for me, at the moment, I'm really digging this. I think it's fantastic. I'm definitely going to be using this in the future. That's so cool. If I do say so myself, I'm really happy with that. Now, finally, and one thing I kind of wanted to throw in here at the very end isn't so much a tutorial. It's just to sort of show off some things I've been trying out, specifically with arm rigs and foreshortening. I don't think I'll be able to demo all of it today because I'm still sort of figuring out exactly which approach I like to take. But nevertheless, let's have a look at this. So this is a little animation that I did. Probably my least favorite of my 3 latest animations, but I really use this project as like a jumping off point to try out some things I've never tried before. So yeah, trying out things like there's a parallax effect going on, getting an object or a character like this bird to sit on something that has dynamic wind effects and react with that. But also these arms and hands. Now, they're not like the greatest thing, but you'll see as he takes his hand out of his pocket, his hand opens up, his arm actually shortens to grab the camera, and when he lifts his arm up. So yeah, I kind of wanted to go over what I've been doing there and also show it off on another character. So this section with his arm here, he takes his hand out of his pocket, his hand lifts up, his fingers wriggle a little bit, and then he grabs this camera, and then the camera rotates as he starts adjusting the settings and taking a photo. But either way, we'll take a quick look at that in a sec. I'll just grab this man and quickly show off the rig. So yeah, this man, it's actually got a few bones in here that are useless, but just sort of show you how the rig works. We'll go to frame 1. We've got this bone up here for helping him look around. So yeah, he can look up and down. It's not the smoothest. It's pretty rough actually. Up and down, left and right. Probably like the worst head turn. But it gives his head some movement so that we can sort of make it look in different directions and whatnot. I did this a while ago. I haven't tried out that sort of 360 head rotation thing yet, but this character didn't need it. So just going back to here, we've got a body turn, and you'll notice that his arms stay locked in place, which is also a key element of what we'll be going over here. Yeah, we can do all sorts of things with this guy. Really sort of move him around and make him shift. We've got some slight leg rotation as well, just a little bit, just sort of help give some movement. And yeah, this rotation for his hand. So we'll just grab this out, and we've got a few different hands to choose from here. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, sorry, my bad, wrong control. So yeah, we've got this open technique, and I've set up a smart bone here so that this smart bone actually controls mini animations for each of these hand positions. So we got this hand position, we've got like low one, we've got one that I was going to use for him holding the camera lens. And if we open this up, we can use this one to sort of wriggle his fingers a little bit, which I do take a little bit of advantage of, but you can barely notice it. It just made his hand look a lot less static as it was moving around. If we go to this other one, sort of opens and closes. And then we go to this final one, just adding in a little bit of movement because I wanted him to twist the camera lens around. Now you'll notice with this rig, I've got all of these bones set up here. And it's kind of weird the way that it is set up. So we've got this shoulder control up here that can move his arm around completely. Same thing for his elbow as well. But you'll notice I also can control from just down here. And this is something I've been trying to explore in Moho for a really, really long time. Oh, I should point out this bone offers a little bit of force shortening, just because when his arm was at full length, I wanted his hand to come out of his pocket. And yeah, if we sort of take this back, it was just too much motion. Like nobody takes their arm out that far just to remove their hand from pocket. So we've got this force shortening control, so that it doesn't have to be that full on. And yeah, I think it sort of really works. Definitely a fun experiment setting this up. And the main reason I've been trying to explore this is, let's open up my old praying mantis rig here. So did this a while ago. Now, one thing, and I think I even said it in my original video, one thing I love about this rig was exploring the foot controls. So yeah, we can grab this root bone, we can move it up and down, which is really great. And his feet stay firmly planted on the ground. His feet actually move in this original rig, but I didn't realize at the time that you can set these to be an independent angle. And then by doing so, the feet will stay on the ground. They won't rotate like these other ones are over here. And then but you can't move them here, so I didn't use it. But if you actually go to frame one, you can rotate those bones up and down. Either way, that doesn't matter. The main thing I'm trying to illustrate here is I liked that I had these control bones for the feet, and wherever I move them, I can move the root bone, and the control bone shows that, yeah, my feet stay in place. So this is really great. I wanted to do something for the arms, but the problem is when you do that for the arms, if we set one up for his wrist here, which we're not going to do, but if one was set up for his wrist here and his entire body moved, his arm wouldn't move with the body. That wrist would stay firmly locked in place. You know, it just wouldn't work. Nobody's arms move like that. However, I really like the idea of having control bones for the arms, specifically because moving this guy's arms around, it's not too challenging. But let's say, like, I don't know, I wanted him to reach up here and grab something. Well, yeah, I could grab this and, oh, yeah, okay, well, we'll move this up and, okay, it's a bit wobbly. Well, yeah, now I'll grab that bone and I need to do this and that. It was just like a little bit convoluted. I didn't love it. I just kind of wanted like a one-off control bone that I could use to move arms around, but still move with the body. And when I tried to set that up, you run into all sorts of parenting problems and things like that. So going back to this character, this uses something similar to what I'm doing with the photographer, but it actually works. So this rig isn't finished by any means, but yeah, I can move this around and control this arm just with this bone. I can still use the other bones, but now I can actually just rotate the hand without accidentally moving the arms. So if I had this arm sort of out here, I can actually move the hand and I'm not going to nudge the arm out of place. That was one big thing I really wanted to be able to pull off on the praying mantis at the time, but I really couldn't figure out how to do it. Like, I want this arm here to open up, but as soon as I try to do that, moves everything else. And there's ways around it. If we actually use like the bone rotate tool, you can. You've got to be on like frame something to do it. If we go here, we can just rotate it like that. It's definitely possible. I just didn't like. I don't know. I didn't like switching back and forth. It just wasn't my cup of tea. So yeah, going back to this, well, this kind of solves that. We can use the bone rotate tool still, but now I've got like way more control. Like the other useful part about this is that if I were to, let's say, we'll put this arm down like this, but we want the hand spun out like that. Well, now our shoulder's all weird and in the way. So what we would do from there is maybe we'll do this on a separate frame over here, maybe. So I don't know if I showed this animation earlier, but I just got a sort of balancing on one foot, just to sort of test out how things were going to look when they were moving. So yeah, basically we'll go over here, we'll move our arm up and we can see already, oh no, it's breaking. But that's fine because I can grab this control bone and move her arm over to here. So now I can have her reach things that she normally wouldn't reach. I can move this into a position that might look weird in some other positions. But, this shot actually works. Her shoulders look nice and squared off. I can twist this arm up and maybe we'll put this one all the way down. Well, now I can come up here and say, okay, well, I'll just move this down to there. So it just gives me like a little bit more flexibility. And then, yeah, at any time I might say, well, I want this elbow to be rotated, but I don't want to move the shoulder. So I just liked the idea of having all these different control bones that can really sort of just give me as much control as I need to shift things around exactly where I needed them to be. And the best part is that when we move our root bone, the arms move with it. So even though our feet stay firmly planted on the ground, which is great, we want that to happen. Well, now our arms and hands actually move with the character. So again, I don't think this is something I'm going to fully demo today because it is a bit of a complicated setup. The foreshortening effect that I used over here, it's pretty rough. And I know like there's definitely things like Vitruvian bones. I still need to explore Vitruvian bones. I haven't explored them quite enough yet. I think that would solve like a lot of issues when it comes to foreshortening and sort of different arm and different hand positions. But for now, although it's like a little bit complex to set up, I think I'm kind of digging the way that I can just sort of freely move this around and sort of place things exactly where I need them to be. Obviously, like, we could let's say we wanted a shoulder all the way up there. Well, now we can do that and just sort of get away with like weird, quirky, crazy angles and just sort of give a little bit more flexibility than what our normal bones sort of allow us to do. Either way, I'm rambling a lot at the moment, so maybe I'll save that for another tutorial once I've fully figured it out, because I think I'm going to redesign this character eventually. I'll probably re-rig her then, and then make her look a lot less cute. That's for starters. And then I'll probably like explore Vitruvian bones and see if I can get this sort of complicated rig set up, but also working for Vitruvian bones, because I really think that this is kind of the way to go. Maybe Vitruvian bones aren't the answer. Maybe I sort of do what I did here and make a foreshortening technique with a bone that's just attached to the arm bone, which is super useful to have, especially for sort of just being able to change the position of certain things, and on a character that is as simple as this, like you could quite easily set something up and everything just squishes in. But yeah, it's something I'm experimenting with right now. I don't know if that's particularly useful or inspiring to anybody at this stage. But yeah, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. And that's pretty much a wrap for part 3 of this series. I don't know if I'm going to make any more. I don't really have a reason to at the moment. So for now, I hope that you've enjoyed these 3 videos in Moho. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I know that I've really fallen behind on uploading anything recently. But I hope that this fills that void, at least for the animators out there. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments, and give us a shout if you want to see anything specific from me in the future. Hit the like if you like, and if you don't, tell me why. Please subscribe, check me out on Patreon, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.